Shabbat Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, there's an update on Chud the Builder, and I'm glad he's not getting out of jail. And the judge pretty much said because, he was outside of the court, an altercation happened, and he had a weapon. And because of the amount of people that were around, his bail was set at $1.25 million. And man, when you see the look on his face and him blinking out of shock, you know that he knows this is not going to be easy for him to get out of. And that's the way it should be. Anytime you want to go around openly using racial slurs and openly antagonizing people so that you can pull a weapon and take their livelihood away from them, then no, I don't feel bad. And that's not stand your ground. That's not self defense when you're the antagonizer. Because these folks will do that. They got a long history of starting an altercation, and then when someone responds to it or it don't turn out the way they thought it was going to turn out, then all of a sudden they become the victim. Well, Chud is no victim. There are hundreds of videos of him going out on these streets using the N word and walking up to random brothers and sisters and using those words and calling them chimps and everything. And you can't be the antagonizer and the victim at the same time, but they certainly do try to do that. So I'm glad he's not getting out. Let him sit in there, and I hope he's around cells where there are brothers. In fact, I hope his cellmate is a brother. Let's see him step to these inmates with the N word and chimp and all that stuff. I promise you, he's going to be as quiet as a church mouse up there in that prison. Usually, these folks that got all these balls running around doing that, they are the biggest cowards. Okay, they are the biggest cowards. I promise you, he ain't doing that up in that the prison that he's in. He ain't doing it up in there. So let's get to it. You're going to see him get his bail and people responding to it. But Chud, if it was up to me, you would never step out on the street again, because the fact that you wanted to use racial slurs to start altercations and you were armed so that you could justify unaliving a brother or sister, for that, you pose a danger to the public and you should never be free. See, y'all want to always give astronomical sentences, especially to black men up in here. But no, see, the chud, the builders that are walking around out there, you're the ones that deserve those long sentences. You should get that. So, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody in the chat. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. Thank you.
Well, I watched Chud's arraignment with the judge. I don't know if y'all seen it, but let me go and tell you. Chud's bail is set at $1.25 million. God damn, Chud. The price of calling a white man the N word is steep, ain't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It ain't about the pew pew. That mm-mm, mm-mm. It's not about the pew pew. It wasn't even about the rage baiting content. It was the fact that Chud was walking around here calling them white men the N word. Chud, what the fuck what you thinking? If you watched the arraignment with the judge this morning for Chud, then you saw Chud's stomach sinking to his ass when he read off that bill. Chud, listen to me. Let me just give you some tips of advice. Learn how to braid hair. Make yourself useful. You could garner coverage without having to give anything if you're skilled at something. Um, that rage baiting, that ain't gonna get you nowhere. That, yeah, I keep your mouth shut. Okay. What else? Don't accept any meals, Chud. Don't accept nothing. You better eat the lonely sandwich, eat the meal that the jail gives you. Because if you eat anything from anyone else outside of that, Chud, you you are not about that life. I could tell because you was looking so disheveled in front of them people. And when that judge read that bill, you look like you was ready to end it all, babe. Um, but you keep that confidence that you had about yourself while you was out here in these streets, rage about people calling white men the N word.
The builder had his first court appearance.
All right, y'all. I'm going to show you. He has a fundraiser. I'm going to show that to you real briefly. All right, he has a fundraiser, and you can see people are donating because there was one in here 4 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, where they're trying to raise money. But here's the thing, y'all. He's not allowed to make bail on funds that were raised on the internet. He's not allowed to use this. So as you can see, it's $205,999.68, but he's not allowed to use this money to get out of jail. So if he needs to make bail, he's got to come up with that money another way. It cannot be this internet raised money. Now, it can be used for legal fees, like to pay attorneys that he's definitely gonna need. He can use it for that, but he can't use this money to get out on bail. So if he don't have the money readily available where he can give it to to get out on bail, give it to the court so he can get out on bail, he is pretty much stuck in there. Can you imagine having that amount of money and you can't use it to get Woo, Chud, you are having a bad life, man. You're having a bad life. All right, let's go on.
Today, y'all, and his bond was set at $1.2 million, and it wasn't set at $1.2 million because he had an attempted murder charge, because he had a reckless endangerment charge. It wasn't even because he tried to unalive someone and then shoot himself. It was set that high because he put so many other people in danger in front of the courthouse. So they feel like, oh, you don't have no regards for the rules, the justice system, or not, which we already know that those type of people do not, because there's no way this man literally goes online and, you know what I'm saying, spread hateful comments, go in front of people and tries people of color or other nationalities and does the same thing. But yeah, y'all, he had a court appearance today, and again, his bond was set at $1.2 million, and you already know that his GoFundMe has already reached the max $100,000, because there are people that really feel like him. They don't took their, you know what I'm saying, mask off. As y'all can see, they are trying to eliminate everything that comes to black and brown people. And the thing is, we just exist the same way y'all exist. Y'all more angry than us. I just want y'all to see that. Y'all are very much so angrier than us, and y'all have every privilege that y'all can have. But y'all know what to do. Get in the comments. Let's go. But I just want to know what, you know.
I'm about to play the video, but the racist streamer Chud the Builder has been hit with a $1.25 million bail and look like bro's about to cry.
$1.25 million, based upon the fact of how many people were in the courtyard, were here at the courthouse, and the seriousness of all these felonies.
That man is cooked for multiple reasons. Even lawyers agree. Because pause Tari, in Tennessee, you cannot purposely provoke people so that you can use self-defense when they react. Not only was there witnesses to show that he started it, but there's multiple evidence and videos online showing that he admits, yes, I antagonize black people and try to get them to fight me so I can use my firearm. Which again, he's been exposed for not only being pegged by black women, but also dating black trans women. So not only that, he was out on bond, and his bond said that he wasn't supposed to have a firearm. Y'all talking about some name calling and harassment don't mean putting your hands on somebody. Well, in Tennessee, if you do that and they punch you, you can't just pop them, especially when you're live streaming and admitting to fans every single day that you're going to go try to get somebody to fight you in order for you to use your firearm. That's premeditated.
I have genuinely never been more delighted at someone else's downfall than I am with Chud the Builder. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you guys. So Chud the Builder, famous streamer, his gimmick is walking up to black people and calling them chimp. He's currently in jail facing an attempted charge. Basically, he popped somebody outside of a Clarksville, Tennessee courthouse for walking up to him and asking why he's so racist. And he's been in jail ever since. This is his mugshot. This is his mugshot. Now, it was pretty questionable whether or not he was going to really get the book thrown at him. But then you got the charges that came out yesterday. And now today was his bond hearing. A lot of you guys probably know what a bond already is, but just in case some people aren't familiar with the judicial system, a bond is basically a monetary promise that you're going to come back to the court to face your trial. So to make sure that you don't try to run away or something, they keep your money. And the amount of money that you owe is based on how severe the crime is. Chud the Builder is white. And also, you could make the argument that because someone approached him first, that it was somehow not that big of a deal that he popped him. But the judge didn't agree. The judge in Clarksville, Tennessee, set his bond for $1.25 million. And oh my God, watching this video, right? Just seeing his face when the judge says 7 figures, like he's straight faced and then you can see his soul crush in real time. Now, don't get too happy about it. To my understanding, a bond is only 10% roughly of the amount quoted by the judge, but still 10% of $1.25 million is still $125,000. Now, Chud the Builder does have a GoFundMe. It's not a GoFundMe technically, it's a Give, Send, Go, but he has a fundraising thing up right now, and it's currently at about $100,000. So there is a solid chance that the racists that prop up his audience still makes it so he can go free, but he's financially devastated, right? So that's $125,000 that he thought was going to go to his lawyers probably now has to go to just making sure that the court stays off of his back. And then even then, there's not a guarantee that he'll even beat the case at all. And I just think it's incredible. Like his speed run to being disgraced is so fast. Usually you got to be in the game for years and years and years before you start openly calling people slurs and before you start getting legal consequences for your actions. But he's just ahead of his time. He's just speed running this whole career for him. Now, I already made a video about this, but the guy that he attacked is still raising money on GoFundMe, right? It's organized by Nee Fox and it's called Standing with Josh and Family After the Shooting. If you want to help him, I recommend that you donate, or you can just share this video to spread it to more people. If you want to help me, then like, share, and follow, obviously, and also listen to my new song, Walk With Me. It's out on all platforms right now.
The bond for Chud the Thug has been set at $1.25 million. Ooh-wee, you about to get your cheeks spread up in them prison cells. Chud the Biscuit, you ain't never gonna see the light of day till 2055.
Temporary $1.25 million bond. And of course, that's as the court prepares to have a separate bond hearing next week, we do know. So we're actually seeing that investigators say that Etherly shot another man outside the Montgomery County Courthouse after an argument turned physical Wednesday afternoon.
He looking at Chud like, I know you done did it. I know you had the weapon. You know, if he wasn't in court right now, I'd have to boom, bam, bing, just Hadouken.
Employing a firearm during a dangerous felony, aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury.
You accidentally shoot yourself while trying to defend yourself. You over here talking about your amendments. Apparently, the right to bear arms shouldn't be an amendment for you, Chad.
So
Now, y'all, Chud gotta be the dumbest mofo in the world. Why would you start an altercation outside of a courthouse? Do you know they got cameras all around a courthouse? They got surveillance all around every one of these courthouses. That's why they got the footage. The courthouse themselves got the footage of the whole altercation outside. You know this man is a fool. He's too dumb to be a racist. But you know, most racists are dumb anyway, but he has really proven how dumb they are. You gonna mess with somebody in front of a courthouse? And see, the courts, they don't have to get witnesses. They got the actual footage of you. They don't even have to say, are there witnesses? No, they don't even need witnesses. They got the damn camera footage of everything that you did outside in front of that courthouse. How dumb can you be? You gave the evidence to the actual court. Woo! Dude is dumb. He is dumb. Let's go on.
Chud the Builder's bail has been set at $1.25 million. The judge was not happy with him because reports from outside the courthouse where he pew-pewed the other gentleman who was still in the hospital, the witnesses said it was terrible, and so the judge feels he's a danger. But also, I want to make a prediction. He's in Tennessee. Yes, while the people outside the courthouse are also victim because they had to deal with seeing an actual firearm being discharged at another person and a fight. But his peers in Tennessee, which I will literally report to you as making stories about Tennessee, will come out of the woodwork for this. Tennessee's as racist as it fucking comes. I think they're going to cut him loose. I think they're going to let him walk because it was a white man versus a black man. I truthfully believe that's what's going to happen.
Your Honor mentioned criminal homicide. I thought that was attempted.
I said, did I say homicide? I meant to say attempted criminal homicide if I didn't.
Okay,
I
understood.
thought I did, but that's still an A felony.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a bail
I'm
hearing.
gonna set just a bond right now till we have our bail hearing. Then I'll let you make all the arguments. We can go through all the factors in the statute and see if that gets amended up or down. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set initial bond at $1.25 million, based upon the fact of how many people were in the courtyard, were here at the courthouse, and the seriousness of all these felonies, and his bond status.
So we're gonna have a bail
I'm
hearing.
gonna set just a bond right now till we have our bail hearing. Then I'll let you make all the arguments. We can go through all the factors in the statute and see if that gets amended up or down. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set initial bond at $1.25 million. $1.25 million. Based upon the fact of how many people were in the courtyard, were here at the courthouse, and the seriousness of all these felonies.
First off, you guys, make sure you like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and make sure you drop me a follow. Next, I want you to let me know in the comments, truly, if you were in his position right now and you were standing in front of that judge and that judge just said your bond was set at $1.25 million. Like, truly, how do you think he is currently feeling? How would you feel in that situation? Also, you guys, this was the initial bond setting and everything like that. As the judge indicated, they are going to actually have a hearing to determine if the bond is going to be higher or lower and whether or not he is going to be able to get released on a, cash bond, surety bond, property bond, or even a PR bond. For those of you that don't know, that's, your little signature indicating to the courts that you will in fact actually show up for your hearings and everything moving forward. But also keep in mind, you guys, he was already out on bond originally because he was arrested a few days prior to that, and he was already out on bond. So there's going to be a lot of factors in this case, because, correct me if I'm wrong, let me know over in the comments, because I haven't looked at a lot of Tennessee laws. But when you are out on bond, I'm pretty sure you are not allowed to carry a firearm to begin with, even if that bond is for a misdemeanor. But I could be wrong when it comes down to it. But let me know your thoughts over in the comments.
Good morning, Ms. Etherly. This is, you're here this morning in case number 26 CR. I'm going to set initial bond at 1.25 million. Based upon the fact of how many people were in the courtyard, we're here at the courthouse, and the seriousness of all these felonies and his bond status.
Chud the Builder is facing a potential $1.25 million bond after his arraignment in front of a judge in Montgomery County today. I was in the courtroom whenever he was walked out and talked to the judge. The arraignment only lasted about 10 to 15 minutes. If you don't know who Chud the Builder is, I'll catch you up. His real name is Dalton Etherly. He went viral online after the AP reports that many of his videos dealt with racist or derogatory content. But on Wednesday in Clarksville, outside the Montgomery County Courthouse, he apparently got into a fight with another man, started verbal, ended physical. He then pulled out a gun and shot the guy. That guy was then flown to Vanderbilt and went straight into emergency surgery. He's now facing attempted criminal homicide, aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, among other charges. But this also isn't the only case he's involved in. There's a separate pending harassment charge out of Montgomery County, and then also some filings dealing with failure to pay back money in business situations. The actual bond hearing will be May 21st. Then the first official hearing will be May 26th. But that judge did say today that he's expecting a $1.25 million bond for Chud the Builder. And that mostly has to do with where the incident occurred. Judge Poland said because it was right there in the plaza of the courthouse, how many people were around the courthouse at the time, it put a lot of people in a very dangerous position. And then because of the other charges or pending charges that he has against him, that's why that bond was set potentially so high. Like I said, I was in the courtroom today, but if you want to know more about this case, you can actually head over to our station's website, WKRN.com. We're News Channel 2 here in Nashville. We're going to keep bringing you updates through next week.
All right, y'all. Now, the man that he shot was 31-year-old military veteran Joshua Fox. You know, names mean a lot, y'all. It really does. I mean, Joshua, so he has a biblical name. And like I told y'all yesterday, even after he got shot, he was handing Chud the Builder's ass back to him. He was bringing it, y'all. He was bringing it. So, Joshua Fox, I wish you a speedy recovery. And I hope you get a big old bag out of Chud and anyone else. And as far as I'm concerned, the police, all of them need to be held accountable. Y'all knew what that man was running around doing. Even the cops knew, y'all. They knew what he was running around doing. And nobody did anything to shut him down. It took a brother getting a bullet in his stomach to put him behind bars. And no, and that should not be forgiven. So I pray, Joshua, you get a big bag out of this whole thing. For real. You're going to have to deal with medical bills and just everything involved. You know, your family. If he had a job, he's not going to be able to work. At least for now, he's not going to be able to work. So he's going to need money. And I hope he gets every dime. But Chud, I hope you rot in there. I hope they give you a black inmate twice your size as your roommate, as your cellmate up in there. That's what I wish for you. And I hope they got them brothers all around you. That's what you deserve. I dare you to step up to one of them. They see, once you're behind bars, you have nothing to lose. And you don't want to mess with brothers that don't have nothing to lose. That's what you don't want to do. So, y'all, let me tell you, they got to keep his ass in there, because I don't think at this point, he would be safe on the streets. I really don't think he would be safe. John L. 941, thank you for the super chat. He's going to have to tell Bubba he's feeling romantical. Yeah, he's going to be scared of Bubba up in there. You can best believe that. Mm-mm-mm. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I do have another live coming up at 11:45. And, and Chud, let this be a lesson. You don't mess with the Most High's children. You don't. Because eventually that's going to always catch up to you. And the judgment, you ain't going to be able to deal with. Look at how you reacted to the Baal. Look at how you reacted to it. You ain't going to be able to deal with them brothers up in there at all. So never say judgment from the Most High is real. It is absolutely real. So, y'all, I will see you at 11:45. Have a wonderful morning and Shabbat Shalom.